Okay, welcome back. There's 3 minutes to go for the pre-open session. Anuj is here with his take on things and how markets are set up. Anuj, stars are all aligning. The question is, will we finally get that push?
I know. It's just that morning, when you wake up with all positivity, you ask yourself, is it too good to be true? Yeah. I think today could be one of those days. It could be a bit of an anticlimax. Because, I'm just asking myself, what's new in Fed minutes? It's something we all know that the next rate hike is going to be perhaps 50 and one after that 25. There's been heavy call writing at 18,300 and 18,400, and the market's been rallying only on the back of the strength of the bank nifty. My sense is today, just for today, maybe that trade reverses. Today, maybe the Nifty outperforms the Bank Nifty. But the level to watch for that would be 18,325, because between 18,325 to 18,350, there will be large algo-driven profit taking. And going by the options data, where you've seen heavy call writing at 18,300. My sense is today, just for the day, you track IT. If that leads the Nifty higher to say 18,360 or so, that could lead to more short covering. And because Nasdaq is higher, and in any case, if this rate hike cycle is coming to an end, maybe IT bottoms out. Reliance is the other key point for the market, because that's been opening at highs but closing at lows, like you saw yesterday as well. So keep an eye on that as well. I think just for the day, while the Bank Nifty has been very strong, just for the day, this consensus trade of buying it on lower crude prices might reverse and might see some profit taking between 42,850 to 42,950, because there's heavy call writing at 43,000. My sense is that will act as a bit of a resistance today.
Okay, Anuj, thanks a lot for that. We're just waiting for the pre-opening rates to settle. So let's see how it shapes up. Ashish Chaturmota, who is the Director Head Research at JM Financial Services, joins us now to talk about his views on the market. Ashish, good morning. Your thoughts, even if we do open with a gap up, do you recommend sort of, closing your position by the end of trade? There is expiry as well today. Are you looking at some volatility? And what are the stocks you're watching?
Hi, good morning. So in terms of, index, we are seeing a strong base getting formed around 18,100, 150 zone. And the way, call writing is being witnessed around 18,300 and 400. It looks like that if we see a gap up opening, then I think these call writers may be forced to cut their, positions, because the momentum of the market is strong. Banking is contributing to this rally. And if, let's say Reliance and, IT starts to do a little contribution, then the index might, inch up towards 18,500 to 600 trajectory. So overall, our bias is positive, and I think any dip, intraday dip, is an opportunity to go long in the market. And I think technically, Nifty, Bank Nifty, both are going to show a strong trend. So keeping that in mind, we have all four buy calls. The two comes from the banking basket, first from the PSU banks, because PSU banks are showing very, very strong strength. And within that, although the entire basket is showing very strong trend, but if I have to pick one, then State Bank, after consolidating for 6-7 trading sessions, is now getting into a strong momentum. So one can initiate a long, keep 597 as a trading stop loss. On upside, 636, 635 would be my immediate short-term target in State Bank of India. In the private bank, I think ICICI Bank has been consolidating for a while, and now it has crossed in yesterday's trading session an important resistance point of 925. So keeping 915 as a trading stop loss. On upside, we are looking for 960, 970 as an immediate short-term target. In the capital goods space, I think Cummins is one stock which is showing a very strong trajectory, and a lot of OI buildup is happening in the stock. So with 1325 as a trading stop loss, this stock looks good for an upside target of 1420. And last but not the least is within the mid cap, cement space. So Dalmia Bharat is showing a very strong traction. Here one can initiate a long, keep 1700 as a trading stop loss. On upside, 1800 would be my short-term target in Dalmia Bharat.
Okay, thanks so much, Ashish, for stopping by and giving us your calls. Wishing you a good trading session. But let's get to our momentumizer segment. Sonia, you're tracking some of these fertilizer companies?
Yes, they've been on the rising trajectory for the last many days, and that's what I'm looking at. So RCF is the one on my list. The stock has hit a fresh 52-week high. It's up 14% in November so far, and it's up 52% in 2022. So it's definitely had momentum on its side. Now, the stock is above the 20, 50, 100 and 200-day moving average. And there's a high delivery percentage in all the fertilizer names that we've seen. So yesterday, Chambal Fertilizers, for example, saw 26% delivery. FACT saw about 15% delivery, and RCF saw a little over 18% delivery. Now, there's no real reason. Sometimes these fertilizer stocks rally ahead of the budget, but the budget is still far away. There's an IPO coming as well in this space on Monday. Dharmaj Crop Guard, an agrochemical company. So maybe some sentiment buzz around it. I'm not saying that these stocks could rally further, but they've had momentum on their side. So this is just something that you need to keep on your radar.
Okay, Sonia, we'll keep an eye out on those. But another stock that was buzzing was NBCC, and that's the next corporate on our radar. The stock has been buzzing in trade of late. It's up close to around 28% in this month. To understand what's going on with the company and what's the trajectory from here on, well, we're joined by Mr. Pawan Kumar Gupta, the CMD of the company. Well, Mr. Gupta, thanks so much for joining in. NBCC's order book, the backlog is at around 45,000 crores, or you add the subsidies, etc., and the consolidated backlog is around 55,000 crores. But only 20,000 crores of works are awarded. What's the fate of the remaining 35,000 crores odd?
These orders mainly are of the redevelopment projects, which are funded by the inventory that is created, and it depends upon the sale of real estate that is being created for funding these projects. And now after COVID, the real estate sales are picking up, and so we are going ahead with the execution of work. With time, we should be able to liquidate the order book.
So we'll have to just, come back to you. We'll look forward to resuming that conversation. But for the time being, we're joined by Mr. Ramesh Chauhan, the chairman at Bisleri International, who joins us. Hi, Mr. Chauhan. Good morning, and thanks for speaking to us here at CNBC-TV18. Well, newspaper reports indicate that the Tata Group, they have already backed this asset, your Bisleri unit. Can you comment on that? Can you confirm on it? Is there any talks that are in the works? And
No.
Are you close to a closure? Please go ahead, sir.
No, it's not true.
Mr. Chauhan, you're saying it's not true. Just wanted to understand, because you've been quoted saying that you are in discussions with Tata's. Valuation has been,
yes.
How advanced are those discussions? I mean, the valuations have been arrived at as well, around 6,000 to 7,000 odd crores. The report also indicates that as part of the deal, the management will stay on for 2 years. So just trying to understand, at what stage of discussions are you right now with the Tata's?
Well, you seem to be knowing more than I know, but we are in discussion.
Mr. Chauhan, I'm just going to quote this newspaper article, which quotes you. And this says, and I quote you, "I like the Tata culture of values and integrity, and hence made up my mind despite the aggression shown by other interested parties."
Yes.
So this seems to suggest that you would like a deal with the Tatas rather than anyone else.
Correct.
And is there
Correct.
no, I'm saying, so you're in conversation with the Tatas. That's what you're saying. I mean, it's not
Correct.
close to fruition. It's not close to a closure.
And
Is there any kind of timeline that you have perhaps put in place? By when do you expect these discussions to fructify?
There's no need for it.
Okay.
It's ongoing.
Right. Mr. Chauhan, since your proclivity is towards Tata's, does that mean that all other suitors are off the table, or are you still considering other suitors too?
Say it again.
Because you like the culture of the Tatas and you're in talks with them, does that mean that if a deal has to happen, it will be with the Tatas only, or are there other players in the fray too?
That I cannot say. Others are there, but it's not discussion yet.
Is valuation going to be important, or is it the culture that will be important?
Not the valuation.
The culture.
Culture is more
Mr.
important.
Chauhan, could you tell us how much do you and the family own in Bisleri? Just a broad idea.
100%.
100%. Okay. There are no investors or any.
No.
And you'd like to sell. When you sell, it's the discussions are for the full 100%, right?
No. It will be part.
Okay.
Sorry, what is that?
It will not be 100%.
Okay. For how much then, Mr. Chauhan?
No, that is to be discussed.
Okay.
So are you open, sir, to selling a minority stake, and you're not looking to sell out the company? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
No.
Mr. Chauhan, can you tell us what is the rationale behind selling stake? If you're saying that you're not going to sell the entire stake, you're looking to sell part, what is the reason behind it?
No, the plain simple thing is that it is our company. We built it from nothing.
Sure.
So we would like to hold on to something.
चौहान जी, आप पूरा 100% नहीं बेचेंगे, बट मेजॉरिटी बेचना चाहेंगे कि माइनॉरिटी, मतलब आप 51% एटलीस्ट रखना चाहेंगे अपने पास?
नहीं, that is to be discussed.
अच्छा, मिस चौहान जी, मैं आपसे ये जानना चाहता हूँ, बिस्लेरी के बिजनेस के बारे में आप कुछ हमें बता सकते हैं कि उसका रेवेन्यू कितना है और मार्केट शेयर कितना है, मार्जिन्स क्या है?
वो सब going into details.
Okay.
2500 करोड़ के आसपास है वो, आप बता सकते हैं हमें रेवेन्यू?
हाँ जी,
2500 करोड़ के आसपास है बिस्लेरी की रेवेन्यू साल की?
कितना?
2500
2500 करोड़.
500 करोड़.
2500 करोड़ सर.
हाँ.
All right.
2500 crores. And sir, profitability around 220 crores, 220 crore net profit number. Net profit number approximately 220 crores, 220 crore.
Approximately, yes.
Okay.
2,500 crores to 220 crores.
All right. Mr. Chauhan, this is a great business, of course, that you have built over the years, and kudos to you for that. Just try to tell us a little bit more about how it will play out from here. If you do sell part stake, would you look to close the deal with the Tatas itself, because you do believe that they can take it forward? And at some point in time, would you be looking to exit completely?
That I don't know. At some point of time, we'll tell.
चौहान जी, ये 2022 में डील हो जाएगी कि 2023 में? कि कोई आप एक मतलब अगले साल होगा ये डील कंप्लीट?
हाँ, can be.
ठीक है. Thank you very much, Chauhan ji. Appreciate you joining us, and we'd love to talk to you again. And as my colleague Sonia said, iconic brand, absolutely iconic brand, and congratulations. So great speaking with you, sir. Thank you.
So from one set of iconic hands to another, right? I mean,
absolutely.
If you just take away the financials and look at it just from brands, the two iconic brands in India, the ones that evoke trust the most, Tata's would be one, Bisleri would be the other. They're coming together. I can't think of any other, such strong brands coming together. But even financially speaking, he's saying that 2,500 crores is the revenue, 220 crores is the profitability. If you look at the Tata's numbers, and their market cap is 71,000 odd crore rupees. So if at the deal value of 7,000 crores, this deal does go through, it means an equity dilution of about 10 odd percent and EPS accretion of 15%. And I am not, taking in to account the synergies, etc., or the upselling opportunities that the Tatas will get. But here, there's a straight 5 to 6% arbitrage on the valuation. And secondly, Tatas get an entire portfolio. In the packaged drinking water, the premium water is doing extremely well. So they have Himalayan out there. The volumes will come from Bisleri if at all, the deal fructifies. And thirdly, the value-add portfolio, which is doing extremely well. Tatas have the Tata Water Plus, which is copper-added water, that's doing well. So they have an entire bouquet.
Complete all the gaps in their portfolio.
Exactly.
And you know what? I mean, if you just go by what we do personally, right? When you go out to buy water, when you're traveling, you say Bisleri dena. You don't say pani dena, right?
वो नहीं, Bisleri आप
Yeah.
तो वो जो भी दें, but Bisleri.
That's the iconic brand.
But just one quick point, Mangalam. I think Tata Consumer currently trades at what, 55 times, right? I'm guessing. And if this deal, going by the reports, it will be getting closer around 25 to around 27 times approximately. Right. So it'll be a very accretive deal. Even on a price to sales, it's only 2.5 times. If going by that valuation.
Agree. I mean, and they have around 2,000 crores of cash on their books. So even if they have to issue equity worth around 5,000 odd crores, the dilution will be about 8 to 10% maximum, and the EPS accretion is around 15 to 16%. So that would be the big positive.
Okay, but we just want to point out that the management has confirmed to us, Bisleri, that they have not concluded any deal just yet. They are in talks with there are many suitors in the fray. They are in talks with the Tata Group as well, but no deal has been concluded just yet. So that's the confirmation coming in from Bisleri. But we have Mr. Pawan Kumar Gupta, the Chairman and Managing Director at NBCC, who's still with us. Mr. Gupta, apologies. We had that breaking news coming in, hence we had to take a little bit of a detour. But thank you for waiting by patiently. You were telling my colleague about the split in your order book. So just wanted to come back to that. Your FY23 guidance indicated a consolidated revenue target of more than 9,000 crores on a consolidated basis. Given what you've seen in the first half, do you continue to maintain that 9,000 crore guidance, or would you want to change it?
No, we continue to maintain that.
Okay. That would be for FY23?
Yes, FY22-23.
Okay. Now, the reason I ask is because there's been a slowdown in the ordering activity. So, would that hamper your guidance for the full year? And any thoughts on what FY24 could look like?
No, we are targeting a new worth of around 6,000 crore rupees this year, 6,000 to 6,500. And a number of new works are in pipeline. One of them is the Government of India presses redevelopment on self-financing model at Mayapuri, New Delhi and Nasik. And then residential colony near Indarpuri and Loha Mandi for Indian Agriculture Research Institute.
Okay. Mr. Gupta,
National Law University
Mr. Gupta, well, let's try to get a couple of numbers from you very quickly. You had a monetization pipeline, right? I think I've done only around 5,000 crores. What's that number likely to go up to?
Around 8,000 we should be able to sell. Another 3,000 we should be able
Another 3,000 crores in this year itself?
Yes.
And how big is your land bank in value terms?
Land bank in value terms is around 700 crores.
Okay, all right, sir. Thanks a lot for joining in and all the best. That's NBCC. By the way, we have just about 30 seconds left for the markets to open. Looks like it's going to be a positive opening. The Nifty is up about 60 odd points. It's settled higher. Not as much as what the SGX was suggesting, but nevertheless green across the screen. It's Tata Consumer Products, which is your big mover, perhaps on the back of, the possibility of the acquisition of Bisleri, although the Bisleri management said the deal is not concluded just yet, but it seems like that could be the case. HDFC Life, Asian Paints, Apollo Hospitals, a couple of other stocks that are trending in the green now. So here's the first tick on the index coming through this morning. That's a 60-point rise on the Nifty. Good opening for the market, but let's see whether it builds on to its gains. What's trending higher? Yes, Tata Consumer Products up 1.5%. The deal could be value accretive for them as and when it comes through. M&M, Cipla, Hindalco are a couple of other big gainers today. You have, in fact, a lot of pharma stocks that are doing well. Not just Cipla, there's Dr. Reddy's that's in the green. A couple of other names. Apollo Hospitals has had multiple upgrades coming through, so that one's looking good. Sun Pharma is up about 0.6%. And the mid-cap index, by the way, is also picking up pace now, up 0.4%. What's trending in the red line? Few and far between. So ONGC, Bharti Airtel, Hero and JSW Steel just about flatline with a bit of a red hue. But other than that, it's a positive opening for the market. Also want to point out that the market breadth is very strong. Almost 1,500 stocks now on the advancing side. There are plenty of stocks hitting fresh 52-week highs as we speak, and we will of course talk about that in greater detail. So whether it's something like an Ircon, RVNL, these are a couple of stocks looking good and hitting new highs. But other than that, decent opening, you'd have to say. Not as great as what the SGX Nifty was suggesting, but a minor green tick is what we're seeing.
Well, that's right, Sonia. You had the management of NBCC. Yesterday, the stock was up close to around 10%. Today, it's up close to around 1.5%. So keep an eye out on that one. Star Health, there was a bit of a tailwind that came earlier today with the IRDAI releasing the revised consultation paper on expenses and management and commissions. So let's pull up Star Health as well as LIC. Both of them could be potential beneficiaries. Both of them holding mildly in the green as we speak. A couple of other names. Glenmark, there was negative news flow that came in there. So that's opened up with a cut of close to around 1%, I think so. Glenmark was a little bit lower to kickstart trade. But, all in all, it seems to be a quieter start with a positive bias. You have the mid-cap index that's doing a relative outperformance. You have seen during the day that gets swung around a little bit. So the breadth of the market firmly in favor of the number of stocks advancing. 5 stocks advancing for 1 stock that's declining. Good start, Prashant.
Good start. And I think, the day's high today is almost exactly yesterday's high. 18,327, 326, 327 is the day high, which is also the open. And that also, as I said earlier, exactly the 61.8% retracement of the recent pullback, and that's the first level to kind of take out and stay above. So we've opened there and then kind of pulled back a little bit. 40 points though, so this is still the first couple of minutes. So I guess we'll have to give it some time. A few other names. Tata Consumer, of course, we already mentioned. RVNL and all these rail stocks went up yesterday. They're up again, 4.25% on RVNL. Ease My Trip is up 4% or so. The stock's at about, 69.70. Bikaji is up 4%. The stock's at 359. Bikaji was up 10% by close yesterday. Fino Payment Bank is continuing to see the move. And as I said, we have the management of Fino joining us later. The stock's at about 256, 257, 11% higher. Policy Bazaar is starting, that's PB Fintech, starting about 3.25% higher. There is UCO Bank, which is up 2.25%. So the PSU Bank element is coming up. Kalyan Jewelry, I think yesterday did well. It's up another 1.75% in the green. And yesterday's listing, which is Inox Green, comes up with about a 3.5% kind of move right now. So this is, the broad lay of the land in terms of stocks. Adani Enterprises is the top, but just a 1.5% cut. But it's coming up with large volumes for this point in the day. So I thought I'll just quickly mention that. Otherwise, on the downside, there isn't very much really to talk about. All right, 34 points on the Nifty. So, sharp, decent open, and then at least for now, 3 minutes into open, there's a bit of a pullback. Gautam Shah is our market master today, founder and chief strategist at Goldilocks Premium Research. Gautam, great to have you with us here. Thank you very much. Will we push through some of this congestion zone, do you think, in the coming days and past the all-time highs and beyond? Or you think one will have to wait for the end of the year, come back in right earnest once everyone is back in 2023 for that to happen? What's your sense?
Good morning, Prashant. Well, in technical analysis, there is a saying that the longer the consolidation, the more explosive the breakout. And I think we've just seen this market passing time for the last 3.5 weeks, doing absolutely nothing. Dips are being bought into, rallies are being sold into, mid-cap, small caps have underperformed. But I think this passing time phase, is read by different people differently. I think there is one camp which believes that this is consolidation, and there is another camp which believes that this is distribution, because only the top 100 has been doing well and eventually the market will fall. But I don't fall into that camp. I think this is quality consolidation that is taking place. India VIX has collapsed to 14. Leadership among the large caps have returned. Global markets are super steady. Earnings are pretty much done and dusted, and they've gone off quite well. And seasonally, we are in a period, where global markets in general tend to do well. So I'm of the view that very, very soon you should see the Nifty get past that resistance of 18,400. Once we do that, we should get past 18,600, which was the lifetime high. And eventually, I think in the near term, we should see the market head towards 18,950. So I remain as bullish as ever. I think the market has displayed all positive characteristics. And if you throw in the breadth aspect, you'll be amazed to know that despite trading at lifetime highs, close to lifetime highs, you have the breadth, which is at a neutral level. So clearly, there is a lot of room for the market to do well, and therefore, all dips are a buying opportunity.
Okay, all dips are a buying opportunity. You are at your optimum or optimistic self once again. So good to see that. But you said eventually and in the near term. These are two very different things, right? Eventually can mean 10 years as well. This 18,950, 19,000 level, is that like a fiscal end target? Is it a target the first half of the new calendar year? What are you looking at?
Well, Sonia, as you rightly said, I know eventually, can be a word that can be played around with, but we don't do that at Goldilocks. I think we feel that December itself, we should get past 18,600, which is lifetime highs. And there could be an attempt to get towards 18,950 December itself. I think it's a possibility. But if you're looking at slightly more medium term, I think the two numbers that we have been working with are 19,400. And the eventual target to this rally that started in March 2020 is actually 20,400. So as investors, these are stopover points. These are not very large targets in percentage terms. So I think going forward, the mid caps and small caps will take over, and the large caps will eventually take a bit of a backseat. And even in the large caps, you are seeing a lot of pockets start to do well. Look at SDFC Bank coming back. This is such a big positive, not just for the banking index, but for the overall market.
Right. Hi, morning, Gautam. Good to speak to you. What about the Nifty Bank? The Nifty is going to trend higher. That has a role to play, right? So what's the levels you're looking at on the Nifty Bank?
Well, that's the brightest spot in the market right now, Nigel. The fact that the bank nifty is at lifetime highs and still going super strong. There are no signs of topping out. I think this index, whenever it has led the market higher, the market has looked, stronger structurally. So I think my eventual target for the bank nifty is about 46,500. Now, these are medium-term targets, will not happen in a hurry. But if you're looking at a near-term level, we are working with 43,500. And as I said, with HDFC Bank joining the party and likely to possibly hit new lifetime highs soon, I think this is a market that will continue to be led by banks. IT also we like. I think we have been of this view. I know it's been a little up and down recently, but I think the overall trend there is also quite solid.
Gautam, in terms of one being able to take positional views, because I guess that is the only way you'll make money, right? I mean, ride the trend. But that also is kind of become tricky because it's the sector rotation is fast and furious, and you got to not time it well, but you got to at least be in the right sectors. So which are those pockets, subsectors? And there are so many which have come into prominence, faded, they come back into prominence, run up, rest a little bit. So which are the best placed right now in your opinion?
Very well put, Prashant, because I think this is not a market where you can just comfortably buy and hold. I think in the last 1 month, there have been landmines everywhere. I mean, look at the mid-cap and small-cap space. Some of the best names in the mid-caps have just lost 20-25%, while the market has, in general, the Nifty has done well. But I think from being in risk-off mode, I think the market is now pretty much in risk-on mode. Given the kind of strength US markets have shown, what the rupee dollar has done, the dollar index, the crude factor, the gold and silver appreciation. So all of these factors suggest that smart money has pretty much moved away from a FMCG, which was the poster boy a couple of months back, and is now going back into banks, capital goods, real estate, auto, and broadly mid-caps and small caps. So these are the 4-5 pockets where we are extremely positive, and we would recommend commitments. The two sectors to stay away from are FMCG and pharma. I think pharma, there was an attempt, but it just, failed once again. But the other 4-5 names which I mentioned, particularly capital goods, clearly is my favorite over the medium term.
By the way, one space is coming back in a big way, and I wanted to get our viewers' attention to that as well, is this whole travel, tourism, aviation theme. Just look at Easy Trip right now, 7% higher on that stock. It's up 50% this month already, and we had the management of Easy Trip with us a few days ago, and they were very optimistic, saying that record bookings coming through. Not just Easy Trip, Interglobe Aviation has had a really smooth run in the last few days. Once again, it's up 3% today. Is this a space that attracts you, hotels, travel, aviation, for the near term, just because there's momentum here?
Sonia, look at the bigger picture. I think COVID was a black swan. And I think because it was a black swan, I think all our lives changed. And I think people realize that you need to live your lives. And that's probably the reason this entire unlock space has done exceedingly well in the last 1.5 years. In fact, Indian Hotels has been my favorite pick all along, and I've spoken about it multiple times on your channel. And even all other travel-related, unlock-related stocks, I think are likely to do well. So I actually like the entire basket. I think, Easy Trip Planners, as you mentioned, again, I'm a user and I like the stock as well from a medium-term standpoint. So this entire space looks good. Just be a little choosy. I'm still not very comfortable with airline stocks, given what has happened on the earnings front. But X of airlines, I think everything else looks pretty good.
Gautam, all okay on the global sort of big cues which matter, oil, etc., all heading in the right direction? Or you think there are sort of speed bumps there as well?
No, it doesn't look like, Prashant. I think a month back we saw a selling climax for the world. I put out the MSCI World Index chart in one of my recent events, and I made the point that how the world was could have bottomed out. And after that, if you see the US markets, a V-shaped recovery for the Dow, the dollar index has corrected, and the NASDAQ is coming back. The Hong Kong market, which was the biggest underperformer this year, is up about 25% from the lows. So I think the world is in a good place. And when the world is in a good place, India tends to be the bigger beneficiary. And therefore, this outperformance will continue. So do not get bogged down with this underperformance in mid caps and small caps. I think the market is just laying that foundation for 18,600 and beyond. Hopefully, December is the month for that.
Okay. You also said that you would stay away from pharma stocks and FMCG stocks. What about IT? There's growing consensus now that perhaps it's a good time to be buying IT because there's value and there is growth that could come back. Your thoughts on from a technical standpoint?
See, from a technical standpoint, what I look at is risk reward. And I think after the kind of fall that IT stocks have seen, I think the last 3 or 4 months has just been all about basing. And I think it's based out really well. I know it's not been a clean recovery so far, apart from Infosys, which has seen a pretty much a very strong move. But mid-cap IT is something that attracts me a lot. And I feel if you have a 12 to 18-month view, you can't lose money there. Don't have a 2-month view. I think it's going to be very difficult to play out. But I think IT as a structural story for 18 months looks good. Another space which I think has come back very well is metals. I think after almost 8 months, we turned bullish on metals a month back. And I feel given all the developments and the news around the duty, I think it seems that metals index will also go on and hit lifetime high. So that's another space where I think there is momentum investing opportunity.
All right, Gautam. So any picks you want to give us from the metals pack? Any stocks that are particularly looking good? Because the metal index has seen a sharp correction from the top. But as you said, the last 1 month, there are hopes that it could bounce back.
I like to ride the winners. I like to ride the outperformers. I like stocks, which didn't do so badly in the difficult times. So I think one stock that definitely comes up on my radar is JSW Steel. I think it's got a great chart behind it. It's got great fundamentals as well. Obviously, the poster boy in the metal space. So that's one stock that we like from a medium-term standpoint.
All right, we'll leave it there, Gautam. Thanks very much. Appreciate you joining in with that perspective. It's always a pleasure. And I look forward to speaking with you when we hit those highs, as you said, in December. By the end of the year, we'll be at new highs. So now the market is up 48 points. And I just want to highlight Bikaji, which for the second straight session is up almost 10%. So, the listing, post-listing, etc. was okay. It's not as stellar as some of the others, but it's picking up pace now in quite a sharp way.
So people are traveling, people are eating. People are shopping. Bikaji, Easy Trip, Interglobe Aviation, Tata Consumer, the top gainers. So you know what people are doing towards the end of the year, right? But let's talk about some more stocks now. Apollo Tyres is, company on our radar. Reported a very good set of numbers, if you remember, a few weeks ago. We have an exclusive conversation lined up now with the management. The company has given a revenue growth guidance of 20% for the standalone entity to discuss how the company is grappling with the energy crisis in Europe and their business outlook going forward. We have Neeraj Kanwar, who's the Vice Chairman and Managing Director at Apollo Tyres. Neeraj, good morning and thank you for being with us on the channel. I want to start first with Q2 because it was a very strong set of numbers at a time when your peers are seeing pressure and there is pressure in markets like Europe where you operate. Can you tell us what's the outlook on the overall business and how is the situation now in Europe?
We've had healthy growth in quarter two. At a consolidated level, we've had a 17% growth in revenues. Specifically, as far as India is concerned, we've had a close to 17% again. And as far as Europe is concerned, we've had a 31% increase. In Europe, our volumes have gone up, total volumes have gone up by 9%. But as far as passenger car is concerned, we've gone up by 14%. So that's a very handsome growth. And that's happening because of 2 or 3 factors. One, obviously, the R&D efforts have really made our tires come on podium positions in test tracks in Germany. And that's helping us. Also, our focus and concentration on the ultra-high performance tires and the ultra-high performance tires is doing good. Our share has gone up to 42% of our total revenue of passenger car has gone up to 42% of the ultra-high performance tires. That's really good for the company because it does expand our profit. That's a large profit pool, which is the higher inch tires, and therefore profit expansion happens. As far as India is concerned, we're looking at India growth happening. We've been correcting our prices as we go along. As you know, raw material pressures have been there. I'm happy to say that we've also had a margin expansion in India. If you see, our EBITDA margins have gone up 12% quarter on quarter, Y on Y actually. And so we've been holding up on our prices while our truck volumes have gone down. But, today our mantra is very clear on profitable growth. So we are not going in for markets where we do not see profitable growth. We are looking at segments also within passenger car and truck in India on how to enrich our product mix, on how to sustain our pricing policy that we have in the market, at the same time gain our market share.
Neeraj, in the conference call, you had given a revenue growth guidance of 20% for the standalone entity. Could you tell us what will that be led by? Which are the sectors which are doing well? You just said that the truck segment is down, although segments within that, where some segments profitability is good. But where will this come from? This 20% growth?
Well, like you said, CV is something which is coming back in a big way. And I believe today, given what we have done in the truck bus radial segment, we have taken out 5 to 6 new products for the customer. So we believe that we will gain market share with these new products that are coming out. So CV is going to take the lead, and then will come the passenger car segment. Today in radials in India, we are the leaders. And so I see radials across the board taking off. Also, as you know, we have launched our motorcycle radials, and that's also doing very good. We've also launched the Vredestein brand in India, which is also getting a very good demand pull. And that's more on the higher end tires for passenger cars and motorcycle radials. And so all of these put together, I see a handsome growth coming in H2 in India.
Okay, noted that. Is there scope for margin expansion since you've taken around a 5% price hike and now raw material prices as well are cooling?
Well, you'll see margin expansion, not because of only raw material prices easing off, but also because of what I mentioned about us focusing on enriching more of our product mix and getting new products into the market with new pricing policies. So you will see margin expansions happening in H2. Definitely. Also, there's a very clear focus on overhead cost controls across the organization. There's a very good focus on productivity improvements in our plants, which all then comes to cost management and cost efficiency. So all this will lead to a margin expansion.
Great to hear. So there are 3 reasons for margin expansion, you're saying. One is fall in raw material prices. Second is cost efficiencies and more value-added products. So I guess that's, great news for your operational improvement. But the one concern that the street has had, Neeraj, is rising debt. Your debt has risen to 5,500 crores. Just want to understand, do you plan to bring it down anytime soon?
So, no, debt will come under control in H2 because our inventories September end have been high, both on the raw material front and on finished goods. So we are looking at that. Inventory management will happen in H2, and we believe our debt will come down. So there is a lot of focus on, I want to say one thing, there is a lot of focus within the company on return on capital employed and on free cash flow. So we'll try to see how we can improve our balance sheet ratios. So really clearly profitable growth, trying to see how we can improve our ROCE and free cash flow situation. So that's really the mantra going forward for Apollo Tyres across the organization. Well, one is inventory, I've said. Obviously on CapEx, we're going to be much more tighter controls. We're not looking at any new CapExes going out. And mainly our target is to be below 2 or net debt equity. So we are looking at to be below the 2 number as far as net debt equity is concerned.
Neeraj, on the capital expenditure front, will there be any changes?
Well, we are at a planning stage now for FY24. And so I can't give you a CapEx number now because we're into a budgeting process. But yes, definitely we will be looking at small growth in passenger car segment because our utilization is today upwards of 90-95% in passenger car because we are catering to new markets with profits coming into the company. And so US is a very new market for us. North America, where we are growing handsomely and has a very good profit pool. So Europe, again, we are exporting close to 1.5 million tires from India. And so we will be looking at some CapEx of growth coming in passenger car segment, but I can't tell you right now what that number is because we're still in a planning stage.
Okay, one final question, because you are at the epicenter of the problem across Europe. I mean, you have your Vredestein business over there, but you've still managed to grow it quarter on quarter. So just trying to understand, is the worst behind, and how did you manage to improve profitability at a time when there are so many challenges?
No, in fact, the pressure has just started. We're seeing a major recession in Europe. But just as far as Apollo is concerned, we did hedge our energy prices. So while energy prices went up by 4 times to 5 times over last year, our energy prices went up by only 1 time. And because we were able to hedge our energy prices in Hungary. And so that's really helped us. Secondly, there were around 8 to 10 million passenger car tires coming from Russia. And that has got banned because of EU sanctions in the month of July. And Apollo Vredestein has been going after those networks of dealers in various parts of EU where these tires were coming from. And that's where we've been gaining market share. And that's why you've seen a very healthy growth of 40% in our passenger car segment. As I mentioned to you, also our focus on ultra high performance tires is there, and that's also giving us very good growth. Lastly, our truck bus radials that we launched 2 years ago, those are also coming out very good in the market, and we're getting a very good demand pull. So when I put all of these actions together, I believe we will have a good growth in H2 in Europe also.
All right, Neeraj, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much. And by the way, what you said is, Sonia, I think music to the ears of the market. Hey, focus on all the right boxes. Focus on return on capital employed, cost control, productivity improvement across plants.
Value-adding products,
It was almost as if there was an investor whispering into the other ear. Right?
So I think his task is cut off, right? He only has to achieve it.
But that point on Europe was also interesting towards the end. He said that the troubles in Europe are just starting, although, I mean, they'll try and navigate through this as they go along. 284 on Apollo.
But, I just want to mention one thing. I mean, you go out there into the market in India, right?
Yeah.
Every brand has a long waiting period for their cars.
Yeah.
Every person on the street is looking to sort of either hasn't upgraded his car for 2-3 years or either looking for a new car. So the demand is immense here in India. The only thing is the European business, which is in the doldrums because of the energy crisis, that has to.
Although I don't know, I mean, you'll be able to tell us, Sonia. The point is these long waiting periods. It's also because of chip issues, right? Because I know someone who's booked an M&M vehicle. I don't remember which model.
Kia has a very long waiting period.
But the companies themselves say that we don't have product to deliver. The waiting list keeps growing. Even if there is a normal addition to new order accretion, the list keeps growing because earlier orders are not being executed. The deliveries are not happening. So, demand is strong, but maybe the supply issues are
that could be part of it. Like the XUV 700, just to give you an example, it's more than a year waiting.
Absolutely.
Nigel has been waiting for a year.
No chance. It's 22 lakhs and I'm not even looking at it.
Even the Kia, Kia has now a 9-month waiting period on most of its new products. And it's pretty steep over there. But I take your point. I mean, a lot of these supply issues need to be ironed out before
you can kind of get a sense of, where is demand at and what is it growing at. We'll take a quick break here. We have Ajit Isaac, chairman at Quest Corp, joining us on the other side. Of course, the Monster platform that they run, the job search platform, and of course, overall business momentum for Quest Corp. Stock's not done well. We also have Ketan Merchant, CFO at Frino Payment Bank, which is the company which we're going to speak with after Quest. There, the stock, of course, is running away. Stay with us.